Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Time Walk with me. I am the Time Walker, and don't blame me, I voted for Kamala Harris. This is just a friendly neighborhood deck that is led by Spectacular Spider-Man. He is a 3/2 spider-human hero who costs 1 generic mana and 1 white mana. He has Flash, and that alone makes him pretty great. 3 power for 2 mana, only one of them a color, plus Flash. But that is not the reason he's the commander of this deck. For 1 mana you can make him fly. I guess that's pretty cool, but that's not why he's here either. For 1 mana and a sacrifice, you can give all your creatures hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. That is the reason. What good does it do to repeatedly give all your creatures indestructible? Well, board wipes. That's right, Spectacular Spider-Man can cheaply turn your creature-based board wipes into one-sided creature-based board wipes. All these destroy all creatures rather than exile them, and there's a lot of them. Austere Command. At 6 mana, this is a little overpriced for destroying all creatures, but it gives you the flexibility to choose other modes. Cleansing Nova. This one costs 1 less than Austere Command, and it gives you almost equal flexibility. You can take out all the creatures, or you can take out all the artifacts and enchantments. Spider-Man will only protect your creatures though. Day of Judgment. This one is simple. 4 mana to destroy all creatures. They can still regenerate, but not a lot of creatures do that these days. Dimensional Breach. This is an absolute board wipe, except that it gives back everything 1 permanent at a time. Doomscar. You can foretell this one, so it doesn't have to cost 5 mana. Vegeta the Lion, or Magita the Lion? Vegeta the Lion. This board wipe is reusable. Unfortunately, the flavor text is missing a comma after the introductory clause, so yeah. Martial Coup. This costs 7 mana to destroy all the creatures, but it gives you 5 or more 1/1 soldiers, so that's cool. Phyrexian Rebirth. This one gives you a creature as big as the number of creatures it destroyed. Rout. This can be played as an instant for 7 or a sorcery for 5. Spectacular Pileup. This is kind of an emergency board wipe. Spider-Man won't be able to save your creatures, but there are ways of getting them back. And it's good when your opponents are using indestructible creatures. Vanquish the Horde. The more you need to cast this, the cheaper it is to cast. It very easily gets as cheap as 2 mana. And Wrath of God. This is one of the original board wipes. It's Day of Judgment, but it stops creatures from regenerating. Say goodbye to all those pesky drudge skeletons. So that's the premise of the deck. Put out Spectacular Spider-Man, get some dudes out, wipe the board, save your own creatures, and then win. But what kind of dudes will we win with? Well, since this is a mono-white deck, I thought I'd go with slivers. I didn't know there were enough mono-white slivers to populate a deck with, but there are, and it's cool. Armor Sliver. I don't see the ability of this sliver to be especially useful, but it's a sliver, so it goes here. Constricting Sliver. This one is pretty cool. It makes your slivers exile opponents' creatures until they leave the battlefield. Enduring Sliver. This lets your slivers pump themselves up. First Slivers Chosen. With a bunch of slivers out, you can make one chosen creature super big when it attacks. Lancer Sliver. Limp Sliver. This makes your slivers a bit tougher and totally invincible against things that do 1 point of damage to them. Unless that damage can't be prevented. Anyway. Plated Sliver. Poultice Sliver. Quilled Sliver. Sentinel Sliver. Sidewinder Sliver. Sinew Sliver. Sliver Construct. Steelform Sliver. Thrumming Hivepool. This costs 1 less for every sliver you have, it gives them some pretty cool abilities, and it gives you 2 blank slivers at the beginning of your upkeep at no extra cost. Ward Sliver. This one helps protect your slivers. And Watcher Sliver. Tokens. Part of this deck strategy is to put out a lot of little creatures and pump them up, so here are some ways to make a bunch of little guys. Abdel Adrian, Gorion's Ward. This guy hides all your creatures in exile, gives you some soldiers in their place, and then gives you back your creatures when he dies. That way, you can save Spider-Man's sacrifice for later. Ameria Angel. This lady gives you a bird when a land ETBs. Gather the White Lotus. Once you have a bunch of planes out, this gives you allies for each of them. Stormherd. The more aliver you are, the more Pegasi this gives you. And White Sun's Zenith. This gives you X cats and shuffles back into your library to give you X cats again, maybe. Pump up. With a lot of little dudes on your board, you can use these to beef them up and hurt some people. Basri's Solidarity, Ethereal Guidance, Felidar Retreat. This one gives you a choice between beefing up your creatures or putting out more creatures for every land you put onto the battlefield. Fortify, Guardian's Pledge, Marshal's Anthem. This anthem beefs up your creatures and brings the dead back to life, making all of those creatures the Messiah. Paragon of New Dawn. This anthem on a stick also gives temporary vigilance to one white creature. Spear of Heliod. As long as you leave up 3 mana, people will think twice before attacking you with their best creatures. The damage doesn't have to be combat damage either. Valor in Akros. This is great to have out when you cast Stormherd. And Zealous Display. Resurrection. Amaria Shepherd. Every land you put out comes with a resurrection cantrip. Promise of Tomorrow. Wipe the board, exile your creatures, and then bring them back at your end step. Resurrection. And Revivify. This is a great one to use right after a board wipe, especially if a lot of your creatures died. Combo. Alright, I put in a rather mean combo here. There's Cormus Bell. Put this out, and every time you kill all the creatures, you'll take out all the swamps too. And then, of course, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. It doesn't produce white mana, in fact it lets your lands produce black mana, but there is no black mana pip in the rules text, so it can go here legally. And with this out, plus Cormus Bell, everyone but you loses all their lands when you kill all the creatures. They'll hate you, but you'll win, and that's all that matters. Other. Admonition Angel. This can hide your stuff from a board wipe, or it could get your creatures out of the way temporarily, or it could hide your opponent's stuff from a board wipe, for a price. Aven Mind Sensor. This prevents your opponents from effectively tutoring. Instead of their whole library, they'll only be able to check the top 4 cards, and they'll still have to shuffle after. Glorious Protector. This very effectively hides your creatures from a board wipe, and it can be cheaply foretold. Life Creed Duo. Since this deck puts out a lot of creatures, it makes sense to gain a bit of life from them. Presence of the Master. I recently got the Legends version of this card, which, as you can see, features Einstein as the Master. It counters all enchantment spells that anyone casts, including you, so don't put it out before you have all the enchantments you intend to cast. And Skull Clamp. It's Skull Clamp. It clamps small creatures' skulls. Ramp. We got Arcane Signet, Hedron Archive, Heraldic Banner, Mind Stone, Navigation Orb, Pristine Talisman, the Eternity Elevator, and Wayfarer's Bauble. Where's the Soul Ring? That's what I'd like to know. Lands. I included as many fetch lands as I could find that work with mono white for the landfall cards. Plains, of course. Drifting Meadow, Evolving Wilds, Hidden Courtyard, Idyllic Grange, McKindy Stampede / McKindy Mesas, Myriad Landscape, New Benalia, Secluded Steppe, Temple of the False God, and Vibrant Cityscape. And that's it! Give me either $100 or your tactful opinion on this deck in either my PayPal account or the comment section, and remember, being gay is the only thing about Donald Trump that does not offend me.